Have you ever wondered how the 3-pound mass of jelly inside your skull enables you to experience the world? Welcome to the enigma that is the human brain. A marvel of nature, this organ, weighing no more than a bag of sugar, is a powerhouse of complexity. Composed mainly of water, fat, and protein, the brain is an intricate network of countless neurons that are constantly firing signals. These signals create our thoughts, our emotions, our memories, and shape our perception of the world around us. From the words you're hearing in this video to the sensation of the device in your hand, it's your brain that's painting this vivid picture of reality. It's also the conductor of our interactions with the world, interpreting sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and touch. It's the silent voice within us, the unseen force that drives our existence. Intrigued? Well, buckle up. Let's dive deeper into the mysteries of the human brain. First, let's understand the brain's basic structure. Imagine the brain as a tri-layered cake, each layer with its own unique role and responsibilities. This cake is made up of 3 main parts: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. At the top, the largest part of our brain is the cerebrum. It's like the CEO of your brain's corporation, responsible for high-level functions like thinking, learning, and memory. The cerebrum is divided into 2 hemispheres, each controlling the opposite side of the body. So, your right hemisphere controls the left side of your body, and vice versa. Intriguing, isn't it? Now let's move down to the second layer of the cake, the cerebellum. It's much smaller than the cerebrum, but don't let its size fool you. The cerebellum is like the director of a symphony, coordinating all the movements of the orchestra, or in our case, our body. It helps us maintain balance, posture, and enables us to move smoothly. Finally, at the base of our brain, we have the brainstem. It's the oldest part of our brain in terms of evolution, and it takes care of the fundamental life-sustaining tasks. Think of it as the unsung hero, quietly controlling things like heart rate, breathing, and sleeping without any need for your conscious input. These 3 parts of the brain don't work in isolation though. They're like a well-oiled machine, each part communicating and cooperating with the others. They work together to control various bodily functions and make us who we are. It's amazing to think about, isn't it? This 3-part structure, complex yet beautifully coordinated, tucked away inside our skulls, running the show of our lives. Now that you understand the basic structure, let's move on to how the brain processes information. The brain is an incredibly efficient information processing machine. This isn't just a fancy statement, it's a testament to the sheer computational power packed within our skulls. One of the primary players in this grand orchestra of information processing are neurons, specialized cells that transmit information throughout the brain and body. Neurons are like the brain's communication lines, transmitting signals at lightning speed. But how exactly does this happen? Well, it all starts with an electrical signal. When a neuron is triggered, it generates a small electrical charge. This charge travels down the neuron's long, cable-like extension known as the axon. Now this is where things get really interesting. At the end of the axon, the electrical signal needs to jump over to the next neuron. But there's a gap between them known as a synapse. So, how does the signal cross this gap? The answer lies in the power of chemistry. The electrical signal triggers the release of tiny packets filled with chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters cross the synapse and bind to specific receptors on the receiving neuron. This binding triggers the receiving neuron to generate its own electrical signal, continuing the chain of communication. This elegant dance between electricity and chemistry is repeated billions of times every second in your brain, allowing you to think, feel, move, remember, and perceive the world around you. And all this happens in the blink of an eye. Synapses, the tiny gaps between neurons, are not just passive conduits. They're highly dynamic, changing and adapting as we learn and experience new things. This capacity for change, known as synaptic plasticity, is thought to be the basis for learning and memory. So, every time you learn a new fact, remember an old memory, or even just perceive the world around you. Remember that it's all thanks to the tireless work of billions of neurons, their electrical signals, and the chemical messages that cross countless synapses. With billions of neurons tirelessly working, our brain's processing power is truly astounding. Emotions are a complex aspect of our lives, all thanks to our brain. Now, if you've ever wondered how such a vast array of feelings, from love to fear, joy to sorrow, come into being, the credit goes to a part of our brain called the limbic system. Nestled deep within the brain, the limbic system is our emotional processing center. Among the key components of the limbic system are the amygdala and the hippocampus. The amygdala, a tiny, almond-shaped structure, is the brain's emotional powerhouse. It's primarily responsible for processing our emotions, particularly those related to survival, such as fear and aggression. When you feel your heart pound during a scary movie, that's your amygdala at work. On the other hand, we have the hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure, crucial for forming new memories. It's like the brain's personal scribe, constantly recording and storing experiences. It's the reason you can recall the joy of your first bike ride or the sadness from a heartbreaking goodbye. These two structures work in concert, creating a link between our emotions and memories. Imagine watching a sunset. The amygdala processes the emotion, say a feeling of peace, while the hippocampus records the experience. Later, when you recall that sunset, you'll not only remember the view, but also the feeling of peace that came with it. This interplay between the amygdala and the hippocampus is an ongoing dialogue, a dance of sorts, shaping our emotional life and our ability to remember it. It's a sophisticated system, one that allows us to experience a world full of emotions and remember those experiences. So next time you laugh, cry, feel a rush of adrenaline, or even when you're lost in a nostalgic memory, remember it's all thanks to the intricate workings of your brain. Our brain not only processes information, but also gives us the ability to feel and remember. Despite all we've learned, the brain still holds many secrets. The brain, this intricate 3-pound mass of tissue, is the control center of our being, yet it remains one of the greatest enigmas in the universe. Even with the technological advancements we've made and the knowledge we've gained, there are still aspects of the brain that leave us puzzled. One of the most profound mysteries is the nature of consciousness. How do billions of neurons firing in unison create the subjective experience of being you or me? How does the brain transform electrical impulses into thoughts, emotions, and the awareness of self? Despite decades of research, consciousness remains a deeply enigmatic phenomenon. Then there are the myriad of neurological disorders. Conditions like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and epilepsy have profound impacts on the lives of millions. Yet despite our best efforts, we don't fully understand why these conditions occur or how to cure them. We know they are linked to the brain, but the exact mechanisms remain elusive, making treatment and prevention a significant challenge. And let's not forget about the potential for brain enhancement. Could we one day increase our mental capacity, improve our memory, or even download information directly into our brains, much like in science fiction? The concept of neuroenhancement is both exciting and terrifying. While it offers the promise of unprecedented intellectual capabilities, it also raises profound ethical questions about the nature of humanity and the limits of our biological evolution. With every new discovery, we realize how much more there is to learn about this complex organ. Each answer we find leads to more questions, each revelation uncovers more mysteries. It's a fascinating, never-ending journey of exploration and understanding. The brain, our most complex organ, continues to fascinate and challenge scientists worldwide. In our brief journey today, we've only scratched the surface of understanding the brain. We've explored its intricate structure, a complex network of billions of neurons, interconnected in ways that make each brain unique. We've delved into its role as the body's information processing center, where every thought, decision, and memory is born. We've touched on the brain's role in emotions, steering our feelings and reactions, shaping our very personalities. And yet, despite all this knowledge, the brain remains a frontier of human exploration with mysteries that continue to baffle and intrigue us. Its capacity for creativity, intuition, and self-awareness, its resilience in the face of injury, and its potential for growth and change, these are just a few of the wonders that make the human brain a marvel of nature. As we continue to unravel the brain's mysteries, who knows what incredible discoveries await us in the future?